Welcome to the Black Men in America podcast. I'm your host, OG Foxy. Join me as we dive into the pressing issues facing our nation today, from policy proposals and political endorsements to poll results and social justice movements. We'll explore the latest developments in the 2024 election. So let's get started. I'm going to start with Vice President Kamala Harris. Harris has proposed the following ideas: expanding access to affordable housing, increasing the minimum wage, paid family leave, tax credits for working families, ensuring that the super wealth pay their fair share in taxes, gun reform, including an assault weapons ban, universal back check, and red flag laws, expanding healthcare access under the ACA, investing in green infrastructure, strengthening voting rights, criminal justice reform, lowering prescription drug costs, pushing for more consumer protections, reestablishing Roe v. Wade as the law of the land, push for tribal self-determination, go after price gouging, stop landlords from charging unfair rents, getting a ceasefire deal done in Gaza, the Trump proposals, Project 2025, and tax cuts for the rich. And that's it. The League of United Latin American Citizens have officially announced they will endorse Kamala Harris for president, which will be the first time the League has endorsed a candidate since its founding in 1929. The Culinary Union Local 226, the Bartenders Union Local 165, and the Unite Here Nevada affiliates, who represent a combined 60,000 workers in Las Vegas and Reno, have endorsed the Harris Waltz campaign. Mark Cuban stopped supporting Trump, saying, "I got to know him better," which, if you're from New York, we all know Donald Trump, and he is a con man, convicted criminal, always has been and always will be. A new Nevada poll shows Vice President Harris with the biggest lead over Trump yet. Harris is at 49.2%. Trump is at 43.6%. The New York Times Siena poll for likely voters has Michigan. Harris is at 50%. Trump is at 46%. Pennsylvania, Harris is at 50%. Trump is at 46%. Wisconsin, Harris is at 50%. Trump is at 46%. The CNN polls seem to have the race at a dead heat. I would consider these outliers. More Americans trust Kamala Harris to handle the U.S. economy than Donald Trump, according to the new Financial Times and the University of Michigan Ross School of Business poll. They have Harris at 42%, Trump at 41%. In the same poll last month, only 35% trusted Biden to handle the economy. Kamala Harris is within striking distance of Trump in Florida, according to the pollster behind a new USA Today survey. Trump leads Harris by just 5 points in the survey, much less than DeSantis' 19-point blowout in 2022. Trump said that he would be open to banning the use of mifepristone, that is the key drug used in medication abortion. Trump said women are not smart enough to do news conferences and are not smart enough to run this country. Trump on the Federal Reserve said, I feel the president should have at least say on rates in there. I think I have a better instinct than people that would be on the Federal Reserve or the chairman. This is from a guy who has bankrupted everything he has touched. Trump said his name is John Tester, and I don't speak badly about somebody's physical ability, but he's got the biggest stomach I have ever seen. I said, I swear that's the biggest stomach. I have never seen a stomach like that. Well, apparently Trump doesn't look in the mirror, and it's more immaturity from him. Trump said, Kamala Harris, you know, it's interesting. Nobody really knows her last name. You ask people, do you know her last name? Nobody has any idea what it is. Harris, it's like Harris. I don't know how the hell did this happen. This happened because Trump is lying and he needs psychiatric treatment. Trump claims his plane had to land in Billings because of mechanical problems, but in fact, he couldn't land in Bozeman because he owes the airport $12,000 from 2020 election cycle. He also still owes the Billings Police Department $58,830. Trump is not campaigning because he stiffed venues in Lebanon, Ohio, Mesa, Arizona, Erie, Pennsylvania, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Tucson, Arizona, Burlington, Vermont, Spokane, Washington, El Paso, Texas, over $500,000. Billings, Mount Albuquerque, New Mexico, had to send Trump's overdue bill of $211,000 to a collection agency in 2021. As of 2020, La Crosse, Wisconsin, is still waiting for over $13,000 for multiple visits. He also stiffed Tucson out of $589,000. Trump always stiffs on paying his bills. They may never see the money. NPR did a fact check of Trump's Mar-a-Lago press conference last week. He told an amazing 162 lies in an hour, with 11 lies in just the first 2 minutes. Like I keep saying, Trump is a pathological liar. Move on to Vance. A question was asked to Vance. You wrote the foreword for the new book by Project 2025 leader Kevin Roberts. Project 2025 calls for rolling back approval of abortion drug mifepristone on Thursday. Donald Trump didn't rule this out. Vance said, well, look, Kevin Roberts is a friend of mine. Project 2025 was just renamed Agenda 47 and is now called 180-Day Transition Playbook, but it's all from the Project 2025. Page 302 of Trump's Project 2025 playbook calls for eliminating safety regulations on baby formula. Trump doesn't give a damn about children safety. Waltz on Project 2025 said, "But look, I coached football for enough years. When somebody draws up a playbook, they plan on using it. And when they do, they will restrict our freedoms." It's called the Trump playbook. Trump took credit for passing the VA choice program, but President Obama signed the bill into law in 2014. Tax cuts for the rich is the only bill Trump ever signed. Trump's campaign said that some of his internal communications had been hacked by Iran in July, but he waits until August to admit it. My question is, who is Trump communicating with? To have Iran so pissed at him that they would want to hack his stuff. This is another Trump desperate stunt. Hackers don't use AOL accounts like these folks supposedly did. Trump to Elon Musk. She was totally in charge. She could have shut down the border without him. And the fact is that Vice President Harris had no unilateral authority to shut down the border in any capacity. Another fact is neither the White House, President Biden, nor President Harris ever designated her as the border czar. Trump offered oil CEOs fast-track approvals on drilling in exchange for $1 billion. Trump is the king of the quid pro quo. Trump in 2016 said she shouldn't be allowed to run. If she wins, it would create an unprecedented constitutional crisis. In that situation, we could very well have a sitting president under felony indictment and ultimately a criminal trial. It would grind government to a halt. Trump should practice what he preached about Hillary Clinton. Trump denied being weird and said, "Not me. They're talking about J.D. Vance." Then Vance said, Walz is weird because he lovingly shook his wife's hand. I don't know. This is weird to me, what Vance is saying. United Auto Workers have filed federal labor charges against billionaire Musk and Trump for attempting to threaten, intimidate workers after Trump praised Musk for firing employees on strike for better benefits. The family of Isaac Hayes is suing Donald Trump and his campaign for 134 counts of copyright infringement for the unauthorized use of the song "Hold On, I'm Coming" at campaign rallies from 2022 to 2024. In a letter, they demand Trump stop using the song and pay $3 million in licensing fees by August 16th, 2024. Failure to comply will result in further legal action. Trump will stiff them too. Crowds started chanting, "Lock him up," but Walz said, "Better yet, beat the hell out of him at the ballot." Lauren Boebert said, "Under Tim Walz, Detroit has the highest murder rates in Minnesota." Wow, now she's a dumbass. The major cable news network all carried Trump's weird, deranged, fake press conference live, but not a single one carried the historic Kamala Harris and Tim Walz rally in Arizona. The mainstream media are propaganda machines for the Republicans. In Arizona, citizenship requirement case, Republican National Committee files emergency application to stay in U.S. Supreme Court. They filed emergency motions in the Supreme Court to suppress voting rights. 150,000 voters in Georgia have been deleted from the active voter database following pressure from Trump on Governor Brian Kemp to help secure a Republican win. The Republicans steal elections, Democrats don't. Harlan Crow bribed Clarence Thomas with millions of dollars in tips. Leonard Leo sent Jenny, his wife, cash payments and hooked Clarence up with billionaire sugar daddies. The Senate stopped subpoenas for Crow and Leo after Crow paid GOP $693,000. They can't be trusted to be fair. If a case goes to them about elections, there's no telling what their decision will be. They're all in cahoots, the GOP and the Supreme Court. President Biden, banks, credit card companies, and more will be required to let customers talk to a human by pressing a single button under a new Biden administration proposal rule. The CFPB rule is part of a campaign to crack down on customer service doom loops. Praising Biden for his cancer moonshot announcement of $150 million in research grants that will help science quickly distinguish between healthy and cancerous cells. Biden continues to work for the American people. Every time the Ku Klux Klan, this is what Biden said, every time the Ku Klux Klan has been involved, they wore hoods, so they were not identified. Under Trump's presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they have an ally. Trump is the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe explains how the government could prosecute Clarence Thomas for his countless crimes. What they need to open an investigation is information that a federal crime has been committed. There is no law or policy that prevents the DOJ from doing that, he continued. In fact, They are tasked with investigating and prosecuting violations of federal law. This could easily be that. So it would fall well within their authority to do it, but would be very, very, very controversial. Forget about being controversial. Prosecute him. No one is above the law. LeBron James was asked, there's the dream team, the redeemed team. What's this team? LeBron said, the Avengers. 2 years ago, Brittany Griner was in Russia and in prison. Now she gets an Olympic gold medal with Team USA. The IOC will have Jordan Charles return the bronze medal and award it to Anna Barbosu. Jordan is now the only athlete in Olympic history to be stripped of the medal because of a judging error. Every other instance is for doping or rule breaking. This is devastating news for her. That's all for today's episode of Black Man in America. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, follow us on social media for the latest updates. Thank you for tuning in, and may God bless us all.